Captain's Cage Podcast, episode 19. We're late Tuesday night, March 28th. Talking about off speed, hitting off speed, laying off speed, how to handle off speed is a big topic of debate for hitters, and it's a big challenge for hitters. We joke a lot of times, former players, you'll hear them say, they didn't reach a certain level because they couldn't handle or they couldn't hit a curveball. And I always laugh because I think that's wrong. I think there's more truth to the fact that they couldn't take a curveball or defend against the off-speed pitch. What I mean by that is most times we see effective off-speed pitches, they land for balls, except for when we swing and chase them. We make them a strikes. Essentially, we're getting ourselves out a lot of times, making attempts at off-speed pitches. So as far as like some, trick to hit a curveball or changeup, it's more about discipline and patience, pitch recognition, and forcing that pitcher to come into the zone with that off-speed pitch. I think most pitchers would agree that they're not necessarily trying to land their curveball in the strike zone or a hard wipeout slider like someone like Andrew Miller, who's in and out of the zone. Good examples. We're watching him pitch throughout the playoffs last year. Big left-hand pitcher, high 90s fastball with a wipeout slider. Those sliders aren't strikes. They're strikes for him when he gets hitters to chase them. Obviously, it's a deception pitch. Pitchers are trained to, essentially fool the hitters on those curveball, slider, changeup type pitches, those off-speed pitches. So essentially, most of them are in and out of the zone. The illusion is that they're in the zone. That's what we react to as a hitter. And unfortunately, that late movement, that comes towards home plate, the ball's tailing or fading outside of the zone at that point, and that's when we chase it as a hitter. When we're talking about, say, a get-me-over slider or a get-me-over curveball, these pitches generally happen early in the count. And it's an effective way to essentially maybe get a free strike on a hitter, and hitters can get frustrated if those pitchers are landing those pitches because we're generally trained to, wanting to hit fastballs early in the count, or when we do get ahead of the count to hit fastballs. That's why pitchers now more than ever are very effective by pitching backwards as well. So most of the struggles we have as hitters with off-speed pitches come in the form of just lack of discipline and pitch selection and patience and, keeping our body control and balance in good position to strike if that breaking pitch or changeup does stay in the zone. And again, really, it's not a pitcher's intention to do that. So as a hitter, we have to force that pitch to land in the zone or to come into our zone so we can attack it. So mechanically, technically, with like the swing, we're not necessarily changing, mechanics to somehow make us a good off-speed hitter. It comes in the form of, like I said, forcing that pitch to be in the zone where it is hittable. A good example is why so many off-speed pitches are popped up if they are put into play. What I notice is that while hitters are waiting on that pitch, they tend to collapse their backside a little bit, drop their hands while they're waiting. So that's a common thing I see is a hitter recognizing that pitch, sitting on it, letting it travel, but while they're waiting longer, because they have to wait longer than if it was a fastball, they're dropping their hands a little bit, starting to collapse their back knee a little bit, and I guess the big thing is dropping the hands. I see that a lot. So now you're coming underneath the ball a little bit. That's why you see a lot of weak fly balls on off-speed pitches. The balance of the hitter is generally transferred forward or committing too soon a little bit. They're struggling with maintaining that good striking position. So it comes into a lot of trust factor for a hitter as well. that might be struggling with the off-speed pitch, trusting themselves to wait and maintain good striking position. So when I say striking position, it's a position that every hitter wants to get into on time, and that's, stride foot down and hands back. And what I'm talking about is when we get in that striking position, after you've finished your load or whatever, we're ready to start our swing. When we recognize off speed, can we stay in that position well? That's what you see in the great hitters, the Mike Trouts, the Miguel Cabreras, is they can sit in that position for that split second longer without compromising their hands dropping or their backside collapsing or even their weight shifting too far forward that's going to commit them into a swing that they don't want to swing at that particular time. So you see the opposite field line drive in these cases from elite hitters is because they can sit in that striking position without compromising their mechanics, mainly their hands, the dropping of the hands or the dragging of the hands or the shifting of the weight out into the front side where a hitter's leaning, lunging, or reaching. So, because I think as a hitter, when we do get a hanging curveball, it's nothing's easy in this sport, but it's much easier to hit. Or if we get a changeup that's staying up in the zone, we see it better. But can we effectively maintain that balance and body control while we wait on that pitch? We know pitch recognition is a huge reason why we can react better to different changes of speed and location on the pitch. Recognizing the ball early. So let's assume we've done that and we've taken our load, our stride, we're in good striking position, balanced, in line with our feet, our hips are ready to explode while we're waiting on that 12-6 curveball or that slider, say, to come into the zone that we've read well out of the hand or the straight changeup. We're not compromising. We're not getting into bad positions while we wait that split second longer, as opposed to a fastball where, we see it's straighter. We've clocked the time and we're bombs away. With the off speed, we've got to wait and put ourselves and maintain that good position to strike. So, a lot of times I'll hear from hitters that they can't hit or they're really struggling with off speed. And many times I always go back to it's usually an issue with pitch selection, that they think they can't hit the curveball, but they're trying to hit something that's not in the zone. So we got to make sure we got to rule out that issue first. Is it a pitch selection issue, not necessarily a swing mechanical issue? And then if these are balls in the zone that we are missing, these off-speed pitches, and they're in the zone and we're just not hitting them, then it's more or less a timing issue. And then a swing mechanic issue would be like I just said, the dropping of the hands, collapsing the backside, the drifting, the leaning, and the lunging while we're waiting on the pitch. But again, that goes back to timing. So, that timing factor is big on hitting off speed in the zone. But again, all you got to do is watch, high level baseball. And when you're rewinding strike three from some of these hitters that might have struck out on off-speed pitches, you're noticing that they're out of the zone. I always tell my hitters, like, if you didn't swing, would it have been a strike? Pay attention to that. Recognize that when you're watching video or studying other scenarios or other hitters or just watching baseball in general. That's what you're seeing a lot, is that these pitches were balls anyways, and we're making them strikes by chasing them. So going back to a pitch selection issue rather than how do I hit this curveball, slider, changeup. So I think, having said all of that as well, we're fastball hitters. Our timing is based off the fastball, and we adjust from that. I can get into if you're guessing, cheating, again, like I said, guessing is, we don't want to go up there and become a guess hitter and just sit there and sit on off speed and think that we're going to fix it like that, because I think you get yourself in more problems with the fastball, missing your pitch, if we go up there guessing. So trust, put your body in good position, in striking position. Don't compromise your hands and your body control and balance while you're waiting for that pitch to either come in the zone where you can attack it, or stay outside of the zone where most of those pitches end up anyway, and be in a good position to take. I always say get in a good position to either take or attack, So if you're in a slump or having a tough time with some of these pitches, remember, get into that good striking position, and the ball's either got to come to you in the zone or it doesn't. But our body control, our balance, everything's in good position to make that decision, take or attack. So that's what I got on the off speed. Generally, it's not what you think it is. It's not a swing mechanic issue. It's a timing pitch selection issue. So force those pitchers to come to you, or they're going to walk you. And that's how you're going to become a much more valuable offensive threat. That's all I got. Thanks for listening.